What if the single greatest obstacle standing between you and everything you want to achieve is you? Not your circumstances, not your past, not the people around you. You. Most people wake up every morning carrying a weight they don't even recognize. They are constantly watching themselves, constantly evaluating. Am I doing enough? Do I look capable? What will people think if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? They want to write the book, but they spend more time worrying about what readers will say than actually writing the words. They want to start the business, but they rehearse the moment of failure so vividly in their minds that they never take the first step. They want to train harder, pray deeper, work longer. But the moment discomfort arrives, the inner voice whispers, "You're not ready. You're not good enough. Not yet." This is not laziness. This is not weakness. This is something far more subtle and far more dangerous. This is self-consciousness, and it is quietly stealing your life from you. There is a story told about a young soldier who fought in an ancient war. He was gifted, physically strong, mentally sharp, trained rigorously for combat. But every time the battlefield called, he hesitated. His commanders noticed, his peers noticed, and deep down, he noticed too. One evening, an old general sat beside him at camp and asked a simple question. "Who do you fight for when you enter the field?" The young soldier paused. He thought about it carefully, then answered, "I fight for victory, for my country, for my people." The general shook his head slowly and said, "No. When you enter that field, you fight for something, but you are always watching yourself fight. You are performing, and a man who performs cannot fully commit. A man who watches himself cannot fully act." The soldier didn't understand at first, but the general continued. The greatest warriors in history were not great because they were fearless. They were great because in the moment of action, they forgot themselves entirely. They were so consumed by the purpose in front of them that there was no room left for self-doubt, self-image, or self-protection. They became the task, and the task got done. That night, something shifted in the young soldier. He stopped rehearsing how he would look. He stopped calculating how others would judge him. He entered the next battle not as a man trying to prove himself, but as a man fully given to something greater than himself. And he fought like he had never fought before. Here is the truth that most people are never told. Self-awareness, when it becomes self-obsession, is a trap. There is a version of self-reflection that is healthy, the kind that helps you grow, correct your course, and become better. But there is another version that paralyzes. It is the version where you are never fully present in what you are doing, because you are always standing outside yourself, watching, judging, calculating. When you sit down to work and you are thinking about how hard you are working, you are not fully working. When you help someone and you are thinking about how generous you appear, you are not fully giving. When you pursue a goal and you are thinking about what people will say if you succeed or fail, you are not fully committed. The mind divided against itself produces nothing whole. But when you forget yourself, when you become so absorbed in the work, the mission, the purpose, something extraordinary happens. Your full energy is released. Your creativity flows. Your effort becomes effortless. Athletes call it being in the zone. Philosophers call it flow. Ancient wisdom calls it selfless action. Whatever you call it, it is one of the most powerful states a human being can enter. And the door to that state is always the same. Stop watching yourself and start serving the work. So how do you actually do this? It begins with a shift in focus, from yourself to the task. When you sit down to work tomorrow, do not ask, How am I doing? Ask instead, what does this work need from me right now? When fear arrives, and it will arrive, do not fight it by trying to convince yourself you are confident. That is still thinking about yourself. Instead, redirect your attention. Ask, what is the next right action? Then do it. Just that one thing. Not for applause, not for validation, because it needs to be done. Build the habit of disappearing into your work. Start with 10 minutes, then 20. Train your mind to stay in the task rather than drift back to the mirror of self-evaluation. And when you catch yourself wondering what others will think, gently remind yourself, that is not the work. Return to the work. Over time, this becomes a discipline, a practice, and like all disciplines, it rewards those who stay with it. You will find that your output improves, not because you became more talented overnight, but because you finally gave your full attention to what you were doing instead of splitting it between the task and your own self-image. The world does not need more people who are thinking about doing great things. It needs people who are so consumed by the doing that they forget to think about themselves at all. Your greatest work will not come from the moments you were trying to look capable. It will come from the moments you stopped caring how you looked and simply gave everything you had to the moment in front of you. Forget the applause, forget the image, forget the fear of failure and the hunger for praise. Forget yourself and watch what you become capable of